Welcome everybody to this Sunday morning service here at Salt Lake Christian Church. The story I have for you all this morning is from 2 Kings chapter 2, the story of Elisha and the bears. And so, at this time, Elijah had just recently been taken up to heaven by the chariot of fire, and God had put the mantle of his prophet onto Elisha, Elijah's predecessor. And Elisha has just started his journey as the prophet of God by himself. And so he had gone through, and there was a little town that the water supply, the spring for this town had been poisoned essentially. The water was impure and people were dying from it. And so Elisha came across this town, and being led by God, he worked a miracle and healed the water and saved that small town from disaster. And after this, God called him to go to Mount Carmel. And on his way there, he passed by the city of Bethel. And as he was passing by the city, a crowd of young men, probably older teenagers or young 20s age men, came out of the city and began pointing and laughing and mocking Elisha. And they were saying, "Go up, you bald head. Go up, bald head," and mocking him. And the terms that they were using when they said, "Go up, bald head," calling him bald, we don't know if Elisha was really bald or not, but this would have been an insult for the time. They were essentially claiming that Elisha was not able to fill Elijah's shoes, that he was unqualified to be the prophet of God. And by mocking him as the prophet, they were, by extension, mocking God himself. And so Elisha wasn't having it. And he turns around and faces this crowd, and he curses them in the name of the Lord. And then he turns and continues on his way, and as he is leaving, two she-bears come out of the woods and hunt down this crowd of young men and tear through 42 of them. If these young men were just simply mocking Elisha for being bald, he would have brushed it off and kept going. It wouldn't have mattered. Christ had taught us to turn the other cheek when we're disrespected, when we're mocked, to just let the water flow off our backs. But in this scenario, Elisha was not the one they were mocking. The fact that Elisha was the prophet that God installed and chose to be his voice to his people is what they were mocking. And by extension, they were mocking God and his plan. And God will not be mocked. And so Elisha was not having it. And he turned to them and cursed them in the name of the Lord. And these two bears came out of the woods and slaughtered 42 of these young men from that city. And Elisha continued and went to Mount Carmel and followed in the paths and the way that God led him to go. But we see from this story that God will not be mocked. And God takes care of those people himself who choose to. So let that be a warning to us, but also a sign that when we are walking in the ways of God and people are coming against us, it's not really us they're coming after. It's God. And God is more than capable of defending himself. Amen. So thank you. Let's bring the music up.